this up, we can maybe a quick recap of how Saturday went, and then we'll look ahead to Davidson this week.
Yeah, Saturday was obviously for your first game, you try to get a lot of questions answered. And I think we got some, not all. Didn't get to play the full game, but we got enough plays in to kind of really get a good evaluation of where we're at, what we need to work on. It was a lot of ugly stuff early, things that shouldn't happen that we got to get corrected. And then I thought our guys settled down. There was not a lot of panic and started playing better as the game went along. And I thought in the third quarter was really when we were playing our best football from that standpoint. So it was, but there's a ton of stuff that we thought that we could get better at, and that's how I told the team. We enjoyed it for 24 hours, and then we moved on. So yesterday, all of our focus was on Davidson and getting ready for our home opener.
How did you evaluate Zion's performance?
Got better. I think he calmed down a little bit. At the beginning, he was just really hyped up, and his throws were erratic. Wasn't seeing the field as well. And then as the game settled on, I thought he made some really nice runs. He's an athletic guy. The best plays, he made a really nice throw on an RPO to Sterling, the big long throw. And I think that kind of settled him down a little bit and made some nice throws. I thought Aaron did some decent stuff when he was in there. But they're like, I keep reminding myself that they're freshmen in the system. And that was their first game in the new system for them. And no matter how much college experience you have, the terminology is different and some of the other things are different. So I could tell his experience helped him as the game went along because he didn't panic, but he can play better, and he's pretty conscientious, so I think he'll get better. I've been pleased with the way Aaron's progressed, and I'm really pleased with the way Tayshawn Smoot has gotten better in practice. So for those three guys, we're going to get all three of them ready to play. That's a good question, but it's not fair to compare. I think, it's like everybody says which of Pat White and Denard Robinson and Sean King and Woody Dantzler and Rasheed Marshall and Khalil Tate, and how do you compare? And they were all really good players, and they are all unique in their own way. Pat White might have been the most explosive runner, but Denard's a pretty good runner. Sean King was the most accurate passer I've ever coached, but Khalil Tate was pretty accurate too. So Zion has some traits that all those guys have, but so does Aaron and so does Tayshawn. And we just always believe that we want to play with 11. That's maybe where we're a little bit different. Our quarterbacks are going to be part of the run game, and there always will be part of the run game. And it's not like sometimes you can protect them a little bit more than others, but we're going to play with 11. And they have to be at least a willing runner. And we won't run them 30 times in the game. I remember I ran Denard Robinson one time against Notre Dame like 28 times, and we won the game. He got 200-some yards rushing, and they're like, is that a lot of carries? I said, he wasn't complaining. The ball ain't that heavy either, right? So our quarterbacks got to be willing, and they got to be, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna play with 11 in every game on both sides of the ball.
One more Zion question. When you think about what all he's gone through, and then also stayed here and kind of learned your system and kind of went through the whole spring and everything, he's still here. What does that say about that?
Well, I think he loves football. It sounds maybe strange from a coach saying on a college level that you want guys that love football, but in this day and age, that's part of the recruiting process, I think, but also for us as new coaches coming in, I hope we have guys that love football, and I think we do. I think that's a credit to the staff before that, they had guys in their program that loved football, and I think that's part of where we're at too in the state of Alabama, where football is important. And it seems like, it's not like that everywhere. A lot of times, it's not geographically is somewhat, I guess you can kind of label it, but not always. Nowadays, there's a lot of guys that just play just to play for somebody else other than the love of the game. And we hope that we always recruit and start to, and I don't know if he's developing it or whatever, but we want guys that love football. And we make it's hard. Practices are hard, but, games should be fun. And I think Zion loves football, and that's why he's here.
On Saturday, 47 minutes, you had 23 first downs. You mentioned
Yeah, and I'm not a big stat guy. A lot of coaches say that. I'm really not. I mean, winning and losing, that's the most important stat. But if you're looking at if we're progressing or controlling the game a little bit from an offensive standpoint, it's 25 first downs. If we get 25 first downs, that's a lot, and you've probably controlled the tempo a little bit, and you're probably moving the football. That's not a guaranteed indicator to win. The number one indicator, if you have 0 negative yardage plays and 0 turnovers, you probably win 100% of the time. I've always challenged media everywhere I've been is I like somebody to research that in college and in pros. If you had 0 negative yardage plays, that means you never had a penalty for 5-yard penalty or a 1-yard loss. If you had 0 negative yardage plays and 0 turnovers, you win 100% of the time. Now, I've never had a game that I've had that, but I've had one. We played Oregon when they had Marcus Mariota and they were ranked 2nd or 3rd in the country, and we had 2. We had 1 5-yard penalty, which I questioned procedure. I always question everything. And then we had 1 1-yard loss, and that was it. The rest of the game, no turnovers, no negative yardage plays, and we won big, and that was the closest I've ever got to that point. Obviously we had some negative yardage plays, a couple. We had 1 penalty offensively, but that's an easy stat to go by. But 25 first downs as far as controlling the tempo is kind of the number that I like to look at.
You also, it seemed like penalty-wise, but I think there was maybe 1.
There was 2. There was the late hit on Curley, which was close, and then the procedure penalty, which I had never seen this before, on Magic, is that there was a towel in front of I don't know if you saw, a towel in front of our right guard in his way, and he tossed it to the right. Well, then it was in front of Magic. So he grabbed it and tossed it away. And I guess that action, the official thought he was moving, and they threw the penalty. So he was actually just throwing a towel out of his way because the guard kind of threw it in his way, and he didn't want to step on it. So that was the procedure penalty. But we'll work on that. We don't like those. Sometimes a penalty, an aggressive penalty, will happen here and there, but you don't want the pre-snapped or the unforced penalties. And that was the only one there and the late hit was close. So we got to be careful about that.
Coach, can you talk about Davidson?
Yeah, I don't know their coach, but he's down. But look at his record. He's 26-15. He's 65-39 overall. They've got a really good program. The kids play hard. You watch them and they play hard. You can tell their culture is good. They've had success winning their league. They've been in the FCS playoffs, and it's their first game. So we're going to get their very best shot. We still got a lot of work to do. I know people were commenting on how fast we played, but I don't think it was our fastest game. I think we can play faster. You got slowed down. We had helmets coming off sometimes. We had injuries. We had substitution, not issues, but substitution things where we didn't substitute as fast as we can, and our quarterbacks weren't managing it as quickly as we can. So there's a lot of things we can do to play cleaner and faster, and that's one of our goals.
What did you think of Jackson Littrell on Saturday, and what does he do well to allow them to get?
Yeah, we picked him as our player of the game. I thought that was the best he's played, at least we've had him. He's been pretty solid. Jackson's always a solid guy. He's going to give you great effort. But he was, you could tell he was standing out to me just on the sidelines. And then when watching the film, we did some odd stuff, and he was great at the nose. And he was active. He made plays. He got off blocks. It was disruptive, and I thought he played really, really well. So, he's a little bit banged up right now. So we don't know his status for this weekend. I hope he'll play, but he played really well, and he's a solid, consistent guy. You're going to get his best all the time.
You said he was your defensive player. Obviously, Deco got the.
Yeah, Deco played well too.
What did you see from him in that game, and how big is it that him and Zion got the award this week?
Yeah, it was just either us or the other team, right? So, I'm glad. I think that's nice. I mean, they pick a player of the week, but there's only your competition is only one other team that played, right? So, but that's still nice. It's a nice award and something they can always have, and they deserved it. I think Zion, like I said, he could play a whole lot better. He'll probably be the first one to tell you that, but his composure, he really kept his composure and made some plays. It was nice, and then. Deco was the same way. I thought it was a great play he made on the interception. He was solid the whole game. It was a good performance. So, I think his best football still out in front of him too.
Am I remembering correctly that Deco was they got that touchdown on 4th and 2. That Deco was kind of on that receiver and they were able to get that pass in?
Yeah, is that who it was? Somebody got beat on man coverage. They ran a nice little. It wasn't a pick route or anything. They just made a nice move on our guy and made a nice throw. Our defense was, I thought, in the gold zone, which I call by the goal line, the gold zone. We were really good, and that was the one play they out executed us on that one. But overall, I thought he played pretty solid.
You mentioned Saturday you thought Campbell was a spring leading. Is that still the thought there?
Yeah, he's getting tested. I think today. He's getting an MRI today. We'll find out to what extent the sprain is. Hopefully, it's not something long term. That's what we're hopeful about.
What was it like for you and the guys in the locker room as that rain delay kind of drags on, especially when we get 60, 70 minutes in?
Yeah, I've never, all these years I've been coaching, I never had one of those before. You think at some point along the line you'd have kind of a lightning delay or something, but never had. And, it was a whole lot better being up 25 than being down. I can tell you that. If I was down, I've been really miserable. But it was, for a while, after 30 minutes, okay, we can finish this out. Then as it drug along, and I was looking at the radar, I said, this ain't looking good. And so I think it came to a matter, both teams said, the game's pretty much over. And, for everybody's best interest, we go ahead and call it. But it was, we just tried to keep our, I didn't want our guys to take their pads off because we know we were going to go out there. I wanted them to get hydrated and maybe get a little food in them. But it was, and then we talked the first 20 minutes, we were talking about what we're going to do offensively and defensively and all that. Then after that, it became, okay, that I think it's just going to be a matter of time before it gets called. So.
How you passed the time the last, because I think it went hour and 40 minutes. How are you passing the last 40 minutes? You probably talked everything out of that.
Yeah, we did. We talked it out about 3 times. It's like to the point where you got to, you're talking too much, you know what I mean? So we just kind of sat around, and I started, okay, we're going to start cleaning up a little bit because we like to clean up the place when we leave. And I'm like, no, we still got some work to do. So we just really hung around. I walked about, I don't know, I probably paced myself a lot on size. I probably get about 10 miles in, but I got about another 2.5 during the delay, just walking back, trying to see the lightning and making sure the band was okay because they were underneath there. Then it came down. You all know it was coming down hard. So then there was like a little dugout behind our bench, and we had all of our game balls, like 20 some of them that all got flooded. So our game balls were just like soaked. So we got to buy a bunch of new footballs right now. So, but it was everything was getting wet, and then we had our equipment out there. And when we saw them start to take their equipment and all this stuff from their sidelines, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably going to be over pretty soon. And that's what happened.
All right, we got Zion Webb. Zion, if you could just open us up, just talk about how you felt things went on Saturday.
Hello, everyone. Zion Webb here at Jacksonville State. And I feel like we came out to a slow start. It could have been way better. I blame a lot of that on myself. So I got to come out better prepared next game and be ready to play from the beginning.
Is this system, is it maybe the most perfect system you played under here for you?
I would say some in that factor. I think is an amazing system because it's always a check to a check. You can always find an open person, always find an open gap. So I think this offense for me is just eye-opening, just seeing all the different opportunities it gives me in just one play.
When you think about your storyline here from the day you got here to now, and injuries and guys transferring in and having to fight through all that, was there ever a time you considered leaving?
I wouldn't say it was a time that I considered leaving, but it was times that I second-guessed myself. But just talking to people over the time and just hearing my elders They just tell me basically people put your head down and keep working. You know what I'm saying? I've never shied away from competition, so there's no reason to run now. So whenever the obstacle is put in front of me, I just charge it head first and just keep going. Just my father, my grandfather, and some of my old coaches that were from Little League and high school. So those guys just kept in my ear, stayed in my ear through my whole process, and that kind of helped me out.
What was it like coming through Coach Rod's Ring of Fire after you left?
Coach Rich Rod is just like he stands on hard edge. Hard edge is what he bases everything off of. So I mean, if you can withstand anything in practice and everything that I go through or we go through as a team, in the game it'll come easy. It'll be just like clockwork. You just fall in place.
Zion, what's it like going against Deco in practice, and what does he do well that really stands out to you?
Deco Wilson, he's one of our top safeties. He's just a working guy. Every day you see him before practice, after practice, getting in extra work. Not even Deco himself. It's just our whole team as a whole. When Coach Rich Rod came in, he instilled that we were going to work hard. We was going to outwork everybody. We was going to be more disciplined. We was going to play fast. So I think over the summer and over the spring, that's what he got us to understand. It was don't complain, don't shy away from it. Just go to work and come every day with your head screwed on, ready to work.
And Jackson Littrell had a lot of success pressuring their quarterback on Saturday. Is he a guy that has some success kind of getting to you in practice?
Oh yeah, we work hard every day to get each other better. So I mean, each and every day those guys push our guys to get better, and we push them to get better. So when it comes to game time, it's easy. So we just go based off of that.
Zion, did Coach Rodriguez say anything to you after the game?
Just congratulations and keep working. I mean, we fixed the problems that happened and just move forward from there.
They mentioned after the game that you were ill during the game and after. Was that nerves or what?
I don't know. I think it's kind of a little bit of both. Just being real humid out there and me being very excited to start off. You know what I'm saying? I haven't played in close to a year, maybe a year and a half, something like that. So I think I was just very, very excited, and I just couldn't hold it in.
Davidson was the last full game you played until Saturday. What are your memories of playing against Davidson?
We played against an outstanding team. They came ready to play. It was just we had a scheme that was, you know what I'm saying, we made up or came up with, and we stuck to it, and we just came out on top of that game. But I think those guys are very, very talented, and they're ready to play.
On Saturday, you scored 3 touchdowns yourself. When's the last time you scored 3 touchdowns?
I can't tell you. I really don't know. It's just I don't really look at it as that. I just look at it as keep putting points on the board, keep working, and make sure my guys are happy on our side of the ball.
You mentioned it had been year and a half since you played. Did the moment live up to what, like, I'm sure you've been kind of dreaming of getting back out there. Did the moment live up to it?
Most definitely. A lot of people don't know this, but I really didn't even feel like I was in real-time game until like the second quarter. So it was just still a dream for me. But once I woke up and came to reality, I felt like I felt in place.
What was it like talking to your family after the game? I'm sure they were happy for you.
They were very proud of me. Just from what I've been through and what was going on, they just proud that I kept going, kept tugging through, and just taking one day at a time.
How do you pass time when that rain delay? Y'all are in the locker room for I think an hour and 45 minutes. Your coach said y'all kind of talked game plan stuff early on, but I mean when y'all are in there for an hour plus, what are you doing the last 40 minutes as you kind of wait to figure out if you're going to get to play again?
Kind of relaxing, just kind of getting off our feet, understanding what the problem is, and understanding what we got to do to keep ourselves in the game. So I was just kind of trying to keep everybody focused, keep everyone into the game, in tune, just in case we did have to go back out. And we just all stayed talking to each other and into to the game.
Are you talking about the game, or are you just talking about life stuff? What are you talking about?
Game time situations, like what can happen, what will happen, what, you know what I'm saying, what's going on in the game right now. So when it's football time, it's football time. Everything else doesn't really matter. when we get in that locker room, it's strictly football. So everything else is just outside at that point.
Anything else for Zion?
When you was in here earlier, he said he thought you were a guy who loves football. Could you articulate that?
This is something I've been doing since 3 or 4 years old. So it's no shy away from the game. I love it. Just the process of the game, going through everything and learning, the ability to learn what I'm doing, I think that's a big factor for me. It's just intriguing to me to learn new concepts and new things about football.
To open us up, just kind of talk about how you felt like the defense played on Saturday.
I felt like the defense, we played relentless. All 11 hats flew around the ball. We had the key number 2, their best receiver, try our best to keep the ball out of his hand and put the ball in the quarterback hand, and I feel like we did a great job doing that.
Any questions for Jeremiah?
Dico got the award this week. He had a big play on Saturday. What did you think of the way he played, and how happy are you for him that he's getting recognized?
I'm very happy. Dico had a solid game. He had 8 tackles and an interception. He made a great play when he picked the ball off. He just held it down for us on the boundary, and he did his job.
How did you feel like you played on Saturday?
I feel like I played a okay game. I did what I had to do. Go out there and help. Lead my team. Be vocal and just help put them in great positions.
It seemed like the defense, y'all had a lot more success after the first couple of drives. Was there an adjustment y'all made that you feel like helped you lock down, or was it just maybe after a couple series it's easier to kind of evaluate what they're doing, or what do you feel like changed?
I feel like Coach Alley, after every series we came out the field, Coach Alley, he had his board. He drew up everything that happened in the last series. So when we got back out the next series, we already knew what to expect and what to do, and he put us in great position, to make good plays.
How did it feel to be back out there after missing last year with the injury, Jeremiah?
It felt great. I ain't played since, UAB games. It's been a whole year, so it's my first game back out there, so it felt great.
Jeremiah, it seems like the team rallies around Zion. Do you feel that? Do you sense that? You've been around here long enough to kind of know the story. Just kind of, how does the team feel about it?
Playing with Zion, he's a great guy. He's the guy that everybody look up to. He's a great leader, and everybody feel comfortable playing with him, because he been here for a long time and he know the ropes of playing JSU football. So it feels good to have him back out there and being the QB1.
Since it's been so long since you've been out on a football field in a real game, I don't know, did that moment live up to your expectations? I'm sure you've been kind of dreaming about this moment.
Yes, I have. It was miserable, sitting out all last year, going to every game last year, watching those guys play without me, it was hard watching that. But I tried my best, every game to coach them up on the sideline. And now, this year, I'm back out there. It's different. I finally get the chance to go back out there and play with them and help them the best way I can.
Did you learn, being on the sidelines for so long, did you see things that maybe you wouldn't have seen if you were in the game that helped you this year?
Yes, I did. I learned, a lot of formations, like how teams run plays. I seen a lot of that, and I just seen the mistake that the guys made, and I learned from that.
What did you think of Jackson Littrell? He had a lot of your quarterback pressures on Saturdays.
Yes.
Is he a guy that you see get after regularly in practice?
Yes, Jackson, he's a dog. He has a high motor. He come to practice every day, locked in, ready to play, and that shows on game day, because whatever he do on practice, that's what he do on game day, and he just do what he got to do and handle his business.
Jeremiah, you played in the playoff game against Davidson. What do you remember about their offense?
Davidson, they came out, with a high motor. They were ready to play. They had a chip on their shoulder. They playing a big FCS team, so they came out pretty good. They were ready to play. They were locked in and focused, and they gave us a good run the beginning of the game, and we just took off at the end.
Jeremiah, when you're in the locker room for such a long time in a weather delay, hour and 45 minutes or so, how do you pass the time, especially I know y'all probably talk a lot about strategy and game situation the first 30 or 45 minutes, but what do you do in that last 45 minutes, when you've been in there so long?
Basically we just went over some plays, try to sit around, well, not sit around, but get a lot of fluids in your body, eat, make sure you stay loose, stretch, and that's it for real.
Anything else? Jeremiah?
Did it come along where you guys were hoping that they'll just call it?
Oh yes, you know, we was sitting up for it about got like 20 minutes. We were like, sheesh, they still want to play, and it got to 45. We were like, wow, they still haven't called it. Like, it was just a long time sitting in the locker room, and we were just ready for it to be over with.
Is it uncomfortable? You know, y'all are kind of sitting around, you're in your pads, you're not, you know, you don't want to relax too much because you might have to go back out there.
They told us to take off our pads, you know, to relax, you know, so we had to sit in the pads for a long time because it can get very hot sitting in the pads, you know, and very uncomfortable. So they made sure that we was very comfortable, you know, like I said, getting fluids and putting food back in our body and stretching.